Alright, hi guys, welcome back. Channel, welcome back to another video. So I'm just waiting for someone to come online. Just waiting for someone to come online. I know the timing is a little bit off because when I announced it, first of all, I announced it to be, I announced the live stream to start by afternoon, but for some reason I missed it. Wait to 11 p.m. now in the night, but I'm starting way early before that, so let's just wait for someone to come online. Out Formula One, like all things Formula One, but mostly we're going to be talking about the 2026 F1 regulations and also the championship battle that is brewing up. So championship battle between Kimi Antonelli, Lewis Hamilton, and George Russell. So we don't know how that's going to play out. We don't McLaren just won the Hungarian Grand Prix that ended. I think at the beginning of this month, end July. So we don't know how they're going to keep performing after that. So maybe they could affect the chance. They don't have the chance that they don't have any realistic chance of winning either the constructors championship or the championship, but I think that they can really affect or play a role in who wins the championship and who doesn't. So we're going to be discussing all of that, but I'm waiting for someone to come online. So let's just keep waiting. I don't know if there's anything we can do while waiting. Don't know if there's anything that we can do. Is there anything we can do? Is there anything that we can do? And by the way, I just cut my hair. I had my hair was long. It was this long. So, and my mom, okay. Hi guys, we have someone. We literally have someone. So say hi in the comments and let's start. We're going to be talking about Formula to be talking about today. Let me pull my hat quick. So hi guys. Say hi in the comments and let's continue. Say hi in the comments, let's continue. Say hi in the comments. We're talking about the Formula One, the 2026 Formula One regulations and the championship battle that is brewing up between Kimi Antonelli, Lewis Hamilton, and George Russell. This is my first time streaming, by the way, so I'm kind of nervous. So this is my first time streaming. So we are going to be discussing about Lewis 2026 regulations, the championship battle between Kimi Antonelli, George Russell, and Lewis Hamilton. So let me so if you're live, if in the comments and let's discuss and let's start our discussion. Say hi in the comments. So in case you're from the beginning, so we came into 2026 and it's the biggest rule change ever in Formula One. It's the biggest rule change in Formula One. The engines we are changing, the chassis we are changing, the whole engineering behind the car was changing. So last year we had the split between combustion and internal combustion engine, and the electric of the car is 85 to 15. So 85% of the power was coming from the engine, and then 15% was coming from the electrical aspect. So but coming into this year, it's kind of 50-50. So 50% of the energy power is coming from, and 50% of the power is coming from the electrical aspect of the car. And Coming to this year, I didn't really like know what to expect. I wasn't like but I was really really excited for the season because it's a brand new like regulation. Everything was new. We have new drivers coming in. Like this year was going to be the main like the year for Lewis Hamilton. Like not perform this year. Like if he does not perform in 2026, he's getting out for he's really actually getting out of Formula One. Like he's getting I don't think Ferrari is going to kick him out, but I think he's going to just live on his own accord. Like because if he like was coming off like from the failures of 2025 and now into 2026, and he's still like failing. He doesn't have the performance. He doesn't have what it takes to to drive a Formula One car really really fast, or like to win a race, or like win championships. So I think he's going to live on his own. But this was going to be like a make or break year for Lewis Hamilton. And then we have like other teams like Mercedes, Red Bull. Red Bull were building their own engine. Like they were coming into the season like with their own engine because 2025 they partnered with for like over the past few years they've partnered with Honda. So Honda was the team, like was the making engines for them. But coming to 2026, they are going to be using their own engines. But all eyes was on Mercedes. Everybody was saying Mercedes like they're going to be the fastest team. And they were playing like the team game at the preseason testing. This one, like everybody was like pointing like hands at each other. Red Bull was like we're saying that Mercedes is the fastest, and Mercedes is saying that Ferrari is going to be the fastest, or maybe Red Bull is going to be fastest, that they should watch Max and stuff like that. But come the Australian Grand Prix, everybody saw it. Mercedes took pole position by almost 1 second, like almost 1 second. Like I think the third driver was Isaac Hadjar, and I think that's his best qualifying position in Formula One. Third position, and I think 8 tenths off of Ferrari like 8 tenths, but the qualifying gap was close to 1 second. I think it's 8 tenths off of like George Russell in position, which is crazy, like really really crazy. So the hype was real, like the hype, everybody was pointing hands at Mercedes, and they were actually the fastest team. So but we're like, because qualifying was one part of the whole like thing, and then race, like the race is like another part. Then coming into the race, we kind of like saw the like back and forth racing, overtake, like rear overtake. And if I sit here and tell you that I didn't enjoy it, I'll be lying. I really really enjoyed it. Like if I sit here and tell you that I didn't really enjoy the back and forth racing, like because at the start of the race, Charles Leclerc overtook George Russell for the race lead, and the Ferrari launch was mega, like really really mega. He went from fourth position on the grid to the first position, the fourth on one, and they were having like this back and forth racing. So George Russell, with the fastest car, would overtake Charles Leclerc, and Charles Leclerc will overtake him back, and then like they were like continue to like overtake and overtake, and it was really really fun to watch. Like if I tell you that I didn't enjoy it, I'll be lying. I really really enjoyed it. And like Ferrari really did mess up in that race. Like they really did mess up, because the thing is that when I wasn't like a Ferrari fan, I used to like see jokes about Ferrari, how they always mess up, like how they always mess up with a pit stop. They're like, whenever something like is clear, maybe everybody's going for plan A, like they just go for plan B. Like, but now I'm starting to like understand why people are hating on Ferrari, why people are hating on them. And it's just, they just keep messing up. They just keep doing like these mess ups, and they really did mess up in that race. But the back and forth racing, I really really loved it. And then come China, and China was a really really good race. Like we saw like a titanic battle between the two Ferraris, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. Like they were like going tooth and nail, and that was really the starting point of George Russell's downfall. Like not downfall, but like his recent struggles, like his struggles, because I don't think Nelly is beating George Russell solely on performance. Like, I don't think Kimi Antonelli is beating. I don't think Kimi Antonelli is beating George on pure, pure talent. But I think it's more of like problems that Russell is facing, like because he's been having so much technical issues with his car. Engine is not like deploying, engine is not deploying well, and so many problems. But like, I don't think Kimi Antonelli is beating him purely on performance. But in China was when like his like struggle began. Everything was going smoothly from Q1 to Q2, and then Q3. Everything kind of like went sideways. And his car broke down. His car started like having issues, which meant that he couldn't like extract the whole like every piece from the car. And Kimi Antonelli took pole position, become ever pole sitter in Formula One. And in the race, he just dips off into the distance, and George Russell was like nowhere near. Like, in fact, he was stuck behind the two Ferraris battling. Like, he was stuck behind Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc battling, and that ultimately compromised his race. So the time that he got past the two of them, he couldn't like he was not able to like make anything out of his pace. And then Kimi Antonelli won the race, becoming the youngest Formula One winner ever. Like, the guy is just not run right now. And we saw like different like things happen. Like, we saw like Titanic battles between, I think, Haas and Alpine and Racing Bulls. I think it was really, really fun to see. Like, China was a really, really good one, and Japan is kind of like an average race. Like, we didn't see much overtaking. It's more like a colder one, but we saw a few issues with some drivers, like Lewis Hamilton. He was having employment, so like that means that he couldn't keep pace with like people around him, like Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, and Charles Leclerc. Like, Leclerc was like consistently beating him in that race, and there was nothing he could do. So, but the race was like pretty. I was having deployment issues. Like, he had DRS fatigue mode on the drivers ahead of him, but he could not close the gap. Like, so it was really, really like, it was a really messy race. But overall, it was like a very decent. It was a decent race. Then we come Miami, because we didn't have any race in April. Like, we didn't have any race in April. Then the next race was in Miami, and Miami was like, what was that? So Miami was like same average race, but it was still, what was going on, bro? But Miami was like, a pretty average race. Like, we saw actions, and Max Verstappen actually like stuck second position. Like, that guy is just good. Like he's just good. Like, I still want to like make you guys know that this is my first live stream, so I'm kind of like nervous. I'm really, really nervous right now. So just bear with me. So Miami was like a pretty, normal race. Like, nothing was like happening. Everyone was kind of like stuck behind each other. Overtaking was like, we saw like Lando Norris was stuck behind Kimi Antonelli for multiple laps. Why they both have like the same pace, and I think if like maybe they had the same pace, so no one could really overtake each other, and you could say Kimi Antonelli is just that good. Like, the kid is just that good. You could say that it was pretty average race, and Max Verstappen was mad that race. Like, he was crazy. He was like bumping into everyone, front, back, and center, like into the Williams, into Hamilton, into everyone. Like, he spun on lap 1, which meant he fell back, but he started charging to the field, but in a very, very aggressive way. In fact, like, he was like moving mad that race, and that's one thing that makes guy different. But that's like one thing that also that's one thing also that makes me like dislike the guy a little bit, because I want to see more clean racing from him. Like I want to see more clean races. It's not just like I don't want to see him like bumping into every driver that he that comes across him on track. I want to see him like do a proper overtake on people. But overall, the race was really really good. Kimi Antonelli won it, making like I think his third uh, Grand Prix, like his first three Grand Prix, winning his first three Grand Prix in a row, like the youngest ever to do that, and the first time someone has done it in Formula One. So the kid is good. Like the kid is actually good. And then coming over to what was it? Canada. Canada was a good one, and in my opinion, Canada is the best of this season so far. Like it's really really good. China is up there, but Canada is just peak for me. Like it's just peak. The battle between Kimi Antonelli and George Russell, like it was really, really good. Like really, really good to watch. Like they were ban for ban for ban for ban. Like I really, really enjoyed it. Like it was really, really good. Like really, really good. And it's just so fascinating how they were like able to like go wheel to wheel like for multiple laps, and they were not losing time. Like they were not losing time to Lewis Hamilton that was behind. They were not losing time. They were going ban for ban. Like it was like at some point they were making contact. Some were going off road. Like it was really really like cool. And we got to see like the battle between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen again. Those two, like whenever they come together on track, Max and Lewis, like it's just fireworks. Like it's just mad, just magic. And at the beginning, Max overtook Lewis for third position, and the race went on. George Russell and Kimi Antonelli, they were like battling it out. They were like going band for band for band, and I was like, surely at some point they're going to collide. Like surely at some point they're going to crash into each other, but no, they were like going band for band for band. But one thing is like two things are definitely like going to happen. It's either they're going to crash into each other, or they have a reliability issue, because they were pushing each other to the limit, like to the very limit. Like they were pushing each other like to the point that at the hairpin, like at the hairpin at the like the other end of the track, they were finding it really really difficult to stop. Like they were finding it really really difficult to stop. So one would overtake, then at the hairpin they will just lose the position, and then the other person will have the same issue at the hairpin, and the other driver will overtake. So they were like going band for band. Like it was really really cool to see. That was like the first and only race we've gotten this season where like the two Mercedes drivers were like actually on par with each other. Like that was the first and the only race we've had this season like that. But at the end, George Russell had issues with his car. Like his car gave up. Like it just went poof, and that meant that Kimi Antonelli inherited the lead of the race and went on race, which makes it 4 races in a row. Like his first 4 race wins, we are back to back to back to back. And we also go another battle between Lewis Hamilton and Max at the end, when Lewis Hamilton like closed the 7 seconds gap to Max Verstappen and overtook him, I think with 8 laps to go. And they stayed close to each other till the very end. Boy, it was a really really fun battle. And one thing I want to point out is like the Macarena wing, of the Ferrari and the Red Bulls, because Ferrari first introduced it in the preseason testing, and Ferrari this is just different. Like the aura like from Ferrari this is just completely different. Like it's just different. They are like bringing upgrades like back to back to back to back. There is always something new on the car. They have this flick tail mode on the exhaust. Like when the exhaust smoke comes out the back, like there is this like ramp that ramps up the exhaust smoke, giving them downforce at the rear of the car. They have the like Macarena wing. They have like those called like those fins on the halo. They have like those winglets on the halo. Like they have so many things, like just so many things on the car that we've never seen before in Formula One. But the aura like from Ferrari this year is just so good, and it's really fun to see like the differences between Carino wing and the Red Bulls. Like Red Bulls like open like downwards and backwards, then Ferraris on flips upwards and backwards, and that's actually proven to be better. But no, we don't know. Like we don't really know what these cars like. We are not like we don't have the data of these cars. But it's really cool to see like the transformation of those Ferraris. Like the Red Bulls is like pretty simple, but the Ferrari is just very dramatic, and I really love it. And then Monaco, Monaco was a really good one. Like it was not a good one in a good sense. Like for example, having good bars on track. There were like no, literally little to no overtakes on track, but it was really chaotic. Like many drivers got penalties for crimes they didn't commit, like speeding in the pit lane. Like everybody got almost half the grid got like a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which was later discovered to be false. Like they didn't speed in the pit lane, but the calculation that the FIA were using were wrong, which meant that some drivers really got shafted. Russell got shafted, man. Like he really got shafted, meaning that he couldn't like finish in the points in the end, and Antonelli went on to win the race. And then we go over to Barcelona. It's like magical, like was magical. Like Lewis Hamilton's life right now is feeling like a Hollywood story. His life right now is like a Hollywood story, and it's just so magical. So in case you don't know, Lewis Hamilton won that race, and the whole race was just perfect. That's my second best race of the season so far. I have Canada 1, Barcelona 2, China 3. Like it was really magical. But like as much as I'm really impressed with the Lewis Hamilton win, but what I'm most impressed about is the Ferrari strategy. Like they executed like perfectly. Like there was nothing wrong with the strategy. Like it was very magical. Like I was like, this is absolute cinema. Like this is pure cinema. Like you cannot write a better strategy than this on a Barcelona with the circumstances and situations that we have on track. Like they did well, like exceptionally well. And the Mercedes guys were fighting as well. Could kind of like give the Lewis Hamilton the advantage to like close up the gap and have the advantage he had before the safety car came out, and he benefited from it and came out in front of the two Mercedes. And when he came out, I was like, okay, this is game on. Like this is game on. This is now battle till the end. But I really didn't expect Lewis Hamilton just like dip off, like to just piece off into the distance. Like he was gone. Like he was just out of there. Like he just said bye. He got in front and he never looked back. And Kimi Antonelli had reliability issues. No, that was the first time. Like that was the first time he had reliability issues. And George Russell came on second, and Lando Norris. I think Lando Norris came in third. Lewis Hamilton won it, and Formula One milked that win. Like they milked that win. Like every single post was about Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari. Like every post, like I could count 50 posts they made on that win. It was really crazy. And then we go over to, what was it, Austria? Is it Austria? Barcelona to Austria? I don't think so. I think it's Austria. They came to Austria with a new ADIO package, because this year they introduced something called ADIO, additional developments, an opportunity. I've forgotten. It's basically a token. If you're 2% down on the best engine, you get one engine upgrade. If you're more than 4% down on the best engine, you get 2 upgrades this year and next year, and more money to develop the engine. So Ferrari, got the token, the token. In fact, they are 6% down. So they got they have to upgrade the engine. They can upgrade their engine twice this year and also twice next year. So they were going to like bring their first package, their first agile engine in Austria, and they brought it in Austria, and it didn't really show much. Like it didn't really show much, and Mercedes were like clearly the faster car that day, and also Red Bull was really quick. The Red Bull was really Max was on fire, was really, and Kimi Antonelli was all over the place. Like it was. I could count like 3 times that he went off track in the first 3 laps, and he was just all over the place. But at the end of the day, like he was like literally the fastest man on track, followed by Max and then Russell. But George Russell was really lucky. Like was really lucky, finishing his lap in qualifying under yellow flag. How he got away with that, I don't know. Like how he did it, I don't even know. But he qualified pole position, which ultimately gave him the advantage to be in front and maintain his lead over the course of the race. But at the end, like Max was catching up to him. But at the same time, Kimi was catching up to Max. Like the two were like catching up to Russell, but the rate in which Max is catching Russell is slow, like it's much slower than the pace in which Kimi is catching up to him. So I think if the race had like 2 more laps, Antonelli would have overtaken Max, and then let's say another 2 more laps, Antonelli would have done Russell, and then 2 more laps after that, I think Max would have done Russell. So it's kind of like was like really close between them. They finished that race less than 3 seconds from each other. Like they finished 1, 2, 3, and it was less than 3 seconds separating them. And then we come over to I think Silverstone, and I was really expecting Lewis Hamilton to do something. Like I was really expecting, and yes, he really did deliver. Pole position for the sprint, and he like fought tooth and nail to maintain the lead over Kimi Antonelli. But at the end, Kimi Antonelli overtook him and won the sprint race. And then everything kind of like went normal. Kimi Antonelli won the race, and then the main Grand Prix qualifying, something changed like for Lewis Hamilton, and at the end of the day, Kimi Antonelli took pole position from I think Charles and then Lewis Hamilton. But at the start of the race, both of them overtook Kimi Antonelli. And the best way that one Ferrari could win that race was one to be sacrificed. And since Lewis Hamilton was behind, it was one sacrifice. Like he really did help. Charles, keeping Antonelli behind, so that Charles could build up this gap, so that he can build like a safety car gap. So not a safety car gap, like to go into the pits, come out, and still like maintain his lead over Antonelli. So everything went according to plan, but for some reason Lewis Hamilton kept getting. That was like the first time it started. He got a 5-second penalty for what? Okay, I think for moving before the start light went off. So he moved. No, yes, he moved before the start light went off, like basically moving before the race starts. So he got a 5-second penalty, which was on him. So that compromised his race, but it was a fun battle between Lewis, Max, and George in that race, and Kimi Antonelli was on course to overtake Charles and win that race, but he had reliability issues once again. Like the Mercedes is just so unreliable, so he had reliability issues and crashed out. Not crashed out, but he didn't really crash out, but his car failed. He was riding the curbs so much that something fell off. Like I think his brake wheel cover broke, like compromising the aerodynamics, like the aero around his car, making him slow. So he was compromised, and then his race just went off in flames. He dropped back and back. He was pitting lap after lap, and he still got a 5-second penalty for So he got 5 penalty for um what was it? 5 second penalty for speed limits. Yeah, no, not speed limits, but track limits. So he went off track 4 times, and then he got like a 5 second penalty, dropping him out of the points that race. So, but for some reason, Ferrari bottled a P2 finish once again. Like Max crashed in that race. I remember he crashed in that race, and I think that was like that one should be. I don't know, because his Max, whatever he says is true. Everybody believes it, but I think his failure is more than just DRS problem. It's either low grip too much, because Aja is not having problems with his rear wing, because he was complaining that the rear wing is a problem. Everybody was saying it, but I think Max is pushing way too hard. So uh Charles in the end won the race. Like it was really, really, at least he was coming back to life, because Lewis Hamilton was giving him belt to ass. Like it was like the table like turned from last year. Lewis Hamilton was like giving him belt to ass, but recently he turned his face around and he won in Silverstone. And then fast forward to Belgium. And Belgium was like a really, really good one for Charles as well. In fact, he got like the kind of like the lock that Lewis Hamilton got in Barcelona. He pitted like under the safety car, came out in front of Kimi Antonelli, and I thought I was going to like piece off into the distance like Lewis Hamilton did in Barcelona, but for some reason Kimi Antonelli came back and overtook him to like win the race. And but he stuck on to Kimi Antonelli, which was like he should like the Ferrari might have some pace, like even like because it was rumored, like it was said that Ferrari would be behind in Spa, because Spa is like a very power limited circuit. Like the most powerful car is going to triumph there, but for some reason Ferrari was like still able to keep up with Kimi Antonelli and Mercedes in Spa, which was like a really big shocker. But shit happens. Forgive me for foul language, but it happens. He didn't win the race at the end, and Lewis Hamilton collided with George Russell, which was like clearly a racing incident. But for some reason, the FIA penalized Lewis Hamilton, while Charles Leclerc that collided with Oscar Piastri did not get any penalty for that, which was really like it's really, really insane. How everybody was saying it was a racing incident between George Russell and Lewis Hamilton, but still, even the FIA admitted that it was a racing incident, but for some reason they decided to penalize Lewis Hamilton. But Charles Leclerc got away with his own offense, which like was really, really like it was really off. It was something off, but Kimi Antonelli won the race. Like Charles came second and Max came third, and then coming over to Hungary. Hungary was like a track that Ferrari were like supposed to do really, really well, and to be honest, they really did perform well. Like from FP1 up until like Q2, Ferrari was like clearly the faster car. Like they were clearly the faster car, but come Q3 they just fell off. Like they just fell off. They didn't actually fall off, but the track condition was like changing massively, and Hamilton stuck it on pole, but in the last minute he was not able to improve. No one was able to improve. Max Verstappen crashed out. George Russell stopped on track, but for some reason Lando Norris was able to find some time and then stick it on pole by 12 thousandths of a second, which is like really, really close, like really, really close between them. But in the race before, after the qualifying, we learned that Lewis Hamilton impeded Oscar Piastri, which is partly his mistake and also partly Ferrari's mistake, because they didn't tell him in time that Oscar Piastri was doing a lap behind him. So he got a third place grid penalty. So he went from P2 to P5. But he still came back in the race. Like he still came through in the race. He like took Charles, who was in P2, overtook Charles, who was in P2, and then undercut Max. But for some reason, he left the door open for Max again. And Max is just Max. Like he's just like goated, man. Like the guy is just too good. And he like gave a surprise bomb on Lewis Hamilton and overtook Lewis Hamilton, for third place. Because the two McLarens were like really, really strong. Like McLarens were really, really strong. But Lewis Hamilton was strong also. Like he was almost as strong, like almost as fast as Lando Norris, but for some reason he could not show his pace throughout the whole race. Like throughout the whole race, he was not able to show his pace. And ultimately, and also in that race, Lando Norris was very, very cocky. Like he was talking some big games. And to be honest, he really, really did deliver. Like he said he would put 10 seconds on Oscar Piastri with no tires, and he actually did it. I know he got lucky with the Sainz and Oscar Piastri incident, which was really, really stupid. Like Carlos Sainz, why? Like, why do you have to do that? Like, that was no reason for him to do that. And the whole system, the whole system on the dashboard for drivers about blue flags were like having issues. But there were blue flags on track that the drivers could see, but for some reason they ignored it. And drivers were having like problems with back markers all over the race. But for some reason they were ignoring it, and ultimately Lando Norris won the race. Lewis Hamilton came home in fifth position because he got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane by 0.1 kilometers an hour, which is, man, he can't make this up. Like he can't like make this up. Like it's just crazy. Like if he's being targeted, I don't know if he's just being careless and not paying attention to like things around him. I don't know, but he got a 5-second penalty. And he got penalized. He came and in fact, he was battling. He was supposed to finish ahead of Antonelli, but for some reason, Antonelli came all the way from the back and overtook Lewis. Not overtook Lewis on merits, but they pitted and came out behind Kimi Antonelli. I know Hungary is a track that you can't really overtake that much, so he got stuck behind Kimi Antonelli. Like I said, he could not show his pace throughout the whole race, and he was running in fourth place at that time, Charles Leclerc, and he had a 5-second time penalty on his head, and Charles Leclerc was 5 seconds behind, and instead of them to I don't know, I don't feel like Ferrari is obligated or subject to do that, or I don't think they should do it, but I think it's something they should have considered. But because if Lewis Hamilton ends up not winning this championship by 2 points, we're going to come back at this point and be like, maybe if Ferrari would have told Charles to back up a little bit, maybe Lewis Hamilton would have gotten that 2 points and would have won the championship. But it is what it is. Things happen in Formula 1. But Lando Norris won the race, and for some reason, Ferrari were not able to to execute and perform on track. But the championship battle is it's as follows. Kimi Antonelli is in P1, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton is in P2, and George Russell in P3. So Lewis Hamilton is 50 points behind Kimi Antonelli, and then George Russell is further 9 points behind Lewis Hamilton, 59 points behind Kimi Antonelli. Can Lewis Hamilton win this championship? I would like to say yes. We're in a new regulation. Things can happen. Things can genuinely happen. Coming into this season, it was said that okay, George Russell is going to be the faster driver. He's going to clean sweep every single race and go ahead to win the championship by a canter. But in reality, his teammate, his younger teammate, is the one doing the job. Coming into this season, everybody expected Charles to beat Lewis again, but Lewis is actually doing a much better job than Charles Leclerc over the course of 2026 so far. So everything, the whole narrative, just flipped. So anything can happen. So I don't want to write him off. 50 points is a lot, and almost 60 points is also a lot for George Russell to overcome. If Kimi Antonelli does not win this championship, I'm going to be really, really surprised. I'm going to be genuinely surprised. But it's not over. Like, it's not over until it's over. So that's my thoughts on it. Let me know yours in the comments. If you're watching this live, or you're watching it after the video has gone live already, let me know your thoughts in the comments. But I don't think it's over yet. It's getting pretty late. I think it's getting pretty late, so we should wrap things up. I don't want it to be too long. So the championship is not over. It's not like over until it's over. So I'll leave you all with that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. See, like, nobody's like chatting me up. I'm not having like discussions with you guys. So if you're watching this, you're interested in F1, let me know in the comments. Hi, welcome to life. Whoa, like, is chat turned on? Oh my god. All right, we've ended life. We're done for today. Why is it laggy? So we're done for today. We only got one like, and we got a couple guys to watch the live. So we are going to end it at that. This is our discussion. I didn't really have any discussion with you guys. The video is super laggy right now. It's super laggy. So I didn't get to discuss, with you. It is what it is. I will see you do another live when I get a better device and maybe a faster internet. But for now, let's make do with what we have. So I will see you guys in my proper videos. So good night, good afternoon, good evening, morning, wherever you're watching from. And that's it for this. That's it for this live. See you in the next one. Peace.